What is going on, eaters and feeders, old and new? I have been gone for a while. I hope you pardon my hiatus. I've had a lot going on in the real world off of YouTube. I've been very busy with consultations, which has been great. Every time I do a consultation, I love and enjoy every single one of them, and it makes me miss recording, and that's something that comes up a lot in the consultations is, what's going on? Why aren't you recording any new videos? I've just been so busy, and the consultations obviously take my priority because those people spend the time and the money, booking an appointment one-on-one with me. So I have been able to keep up with my consultation schedule, but unfortunately the recording and the editing has just been more than I've been able to muster in the last several months. But I am back. I am going to try to get back to being consistent. I do want to update you guys and bring some of the new people in because I know I do have a lot of new viewers, and let you know that I am going to be producing some content, and I have figured out some ways that I'm going to start implementing ways to streamline my efforts and the resources that I provide, namely the meal plan mafia or the meal prep mafia. I keep going back and forth on what I'm going to name it or what I've named it. Originally it's meal plan, there's meal prep. In any case, the mafia, the private group. I was originally, if you know, maybe you don't, I'll catch you up. Originally I was on Facebook and I had a private group on Facebook. Unfortunately, still don't know why. I kind of do know why. I got banned from Facebook. The reason was my last name isn't The Student, but I had my Facebook name as Casey The Student, and apparently having a fake name got me violated, and or that sounds weird. I violated their terms of service. That's the only thing I could imagine, because I wasn't like posting political stuff or anything weird. And in any case, they kicked me off Facebook. I appealed it. Nobody responds, so I have been unable to access the Facebook group since October of 2019. Now, that made it a bit difficult for me to answer questions in the Facebook group, so then I decided to build my own community, and I put it on mealprepbiz101.com. Unfortunately, I had over 100 people in the private group on Facebook, and a lot of them just didn't get the memo. They didn't migrate over to the mealprepbiz101.com community, so that community never got to the full potential that the Facebook community was. We didn't have enough people get over, so it was pretty thin, and there weren't enough people engaging and answering and asking, and it's been less than what I expected it to be. So what I've figured out is I'm just going to start a Discord. I've joined a lot of Discords in my personal life over the last few years for cryptocurrency and NFTs and all sorts of other side projects, some business stuff. And Discord, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of like a next level chat where you can have what they call a server where we have, and I just set it up today, we'll have the Meal Prep Biz 101 server. And then within there will be multiple chat rooms, and I've made them so that they can be specific to certain topics. Like I've made one for delivery, one for production, one for sales, one for marketing and advertising, etc., etc., etc. And as well as having the chats on there, it will also allow me to showcase certain resources and links to material, videos. So I'm going to have one channel that's already set up to just have videos that are pertinent to other conversations that are going on in some of the other threads, as well as links to things that people find sometimes difficult or confusing to find themselves. I have a lot of links to the free stuff that I give out. I got calculators and order systems and worksheets and all sorts of different materials that aren't videos that you need a link to access, and they're either in an automated email somewhere, or they're in the link to a video somewhere, or they're buried somewhere in my site. And people have expressed having difficulty locating these things, and to be honest, I don't remember where I put everything, especially when it's 6 months after the fact and someone's like, hey, where's the calculator? Well, which calculator? I've made like 3 or 4 different calculators. Are you talking about the profit calculator? Either way, the answer is I'm not really sure where it is. It's somewhere in an email, somewhere in my site, or somewhere in the link to the video that you watch to tell you about the calculator. But in any case, Discord will allow me to add that stuff and make it easily accessible. Now, the way that you can access Discord, if you're not familiar, it's a free app that you can get on your phone. You can also have it on your computer as well. So whichever is easiest for you. I have it on both. And like I said, I have cryptocurrency trading, some stock trading, and all sorts of other stuff. So I have all these different groups that I'm in, and then within those groups, I took a shine to it because it seems like a really easy way to organize a community. And we can there's one channel that's just general discussions where we could talk about, who you are, where you're from, why you started, yada, yada, yada. And then, like I mentioned before, some of the channels are going to be specifically dedicated to discussing delivery. And we can talk about delivery bags, delivery software. And what's really cool about it is even if someone joins the conversation 3 months down the road, they can do a search through all of those conversations and put in certain keywords like delivery bags, and they could see every conversation that we've had discussing delivery bags or logistics software, and they could find every single conversation where we've discussed the pros and cons of delivery software. So it makes it easier for new people to access the information without having to ask the same questions over and over and over. One of the problems with asking questions in the comments is a lot of times the answer is either somewhere else in the comment or it's in another video, and it's not always as easy for people to find this information. And again, also in the Facebook chat, that was one thing I liked, but one of the negatives about it was I wasn't able to showcase as much information as I wanted to. So the links to spreadsheets and the calculators and software and videos and everything, I can host all of that in the Discord. So I invite you to join it. I'll probably have a link in the show notes for this episode. I'm also going to be emailing this video out, so you probably, if you receive the email, if you're on the newsletter list, you probably received a link that's going to give you an invite to that Discord. Unfortunately, in Discord, they don't make it very easy for you to search and find a channel. So most of it is going to be the easiest way to get to that server, rather, not channel. Server is the big kind of umbrella, and then within the server, there will be channels. So we'll have a Meal Prep Biz 101 server. You gain access to that through an invite. And then those channels are what's going to be topic specific. Right now, I'm thinking I'm going to have it wide open. I'll probably eventually build out more features, more channels, put out more content on it, and then eventually have a VIP section. And there's some like live broadcasts that I can do. We can do video streaming in there. I know we can do audio streaming in there as well. So once I have enough people in there, I'll start adding more and more to it, and I'm going to regularly be on it. I'll also get notifications whenever there's any posts in there. So that'll be a great way to access me as well as the rest of the community. And I really hope that all of you join. And it's really open to anybody, from someone who's been in it for years or somebody who's very new to the entire meal prep biz experience. It's, I think, the best resource because I'm only one person. I can't answer everything quickly, but even when I do, there might be other perspectives that other people have where their information isn't invalidated just by my perspective. The way I look at it is like, I'm not the expert per se. I'm just a few years ahead of everybody, or most people at least. And I have my way that I've done it, and I've achieved a lot of success, and I know what worked for us, but I'm not saying that that's the only way. So that's what I love about the community is when we have a one-on-one consultation, it's great because we can get into more depth. We're talking one-on-one, or you and your business partners, and that's great for certain content to be discussed. But when you're looking for the opinion of the aesthetics of a flyer that you're doing, or a logo, or brand colors, it's great to get opinions from multiple people. Or maybe there's ways that people have used delivery scheduling and packing scheduling, or something they've done it in a different way than what I've done, and it works for them, and it might work better for you given whatever your variables are, the size of your delivery radius, the schedule of your production, whatever. So I like the group for that aspect, and I encourage all of you to have the confidence to not only ask the questions that you want answers to, but also chime in, give your perspective. If there's something that you need clarity on, there might be somebody else who has that question and they don't have the confidence to ask it, so ask away. Or there might be some clarity where something's asked and answered, but you don't really fully understand it. You're probably not alone. It might be understood by everybody at that time, but 6 months down the road, there might be someone joining and they don't know what's going on. So I really want it to be a community effort where everybody's involved, and I have high hopes for it. The Facebook group was getting off to a great start. It was only up for a few months when I got kicked out of my own group, basically. But that's its whole other issue. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of Mr. Zuckerberg. But in any case, I invite you guys to join the Discord group. I'm also going to be trying to get out more podcasts. I started a podcast, and you can find it on Spotify, Apple, I think Stitcher. I think it's on basically all the popular podcast platforms. I started a podcast where right now the only podcast episodes that are up are basically the audio from videos on my YouTube channel, but I do want to eventually start making specifically episodes just for the podcast. So it'll be, no camera, just audio, and I'm going to have a mix of the audio stripped from video as well as episodes that are only audio, only podcast stuff. So find that. I know that I listen to a lot more podcasts than I do watch YouTube, just because I like listening to podcasts while I drive, while I brush my teeth. I'll put on the speaker shower and listen to podcasts. So I know a lot of you guys, especially in the beginning, where you're running around shopping for produce and food, or you're driving around doing deliveries, it makes it a lot easier for you to ingest this information without having to sit down and dedicate some time to look at a screen on YouTube. And then the last thing I want to mention before I go is consulting. I am going to be opening up some more time on my schedule to do consulting. I've been having a lot of people who are asking for consultation times that don't fit the current availabilities. I do have more time in my schedule, but if it doesn't get, it gets complicated. If I don't fill it up and I don't have it dedicated, then I kind of fill that gap with something else I do have to do. So it's hard for me to make it available. Right now, Tuesdays, I try to keep very open where I'm not mobile. I try to keep it as open as possible. And then I have some of my other consultation clients where we've got weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly appointments on certain days, and that's already planned out. As long as I have at least 7 days notice, it's normally pretty easy for me to find a place for you. But on top of opening up some more consultation times, I've also added some consultation packages that make it a bit more affordable. And I was having a lot of people who have started doing weekly and bi-weekly consultations where we're, either we've got a set time every week or every other week. And depending on where you are, especially when you're first starting out, that might be the best thing for you. Or one of my clients is going through an acquisition, so we've been talking about we've been doing consultations much more frequently. I'm trying to make myself as available as possible, but we've got to work somewhere where it can be consistent. So check those packages out. I just put them up on the website as well. So I opened up a bi-weekly every other week, and then you can also just book a one-off consultation wherever. Gives you 7 days out. So if you need something, if there's an emergency going on, it won't let you book anything closer than 7 days out. So if you need something, book it. You'll get an email, and through there you'll be able to respond to me, and then you can say, hey, I've got this emergency going on, my chef just quit, or we were just offered a buyout agreement. I need someone to run through the numbers with me and weigh out the pros and cons. I've worked on a couple of acquisitions now on both sides of the fence, helping people who are being acquired, and I've also acquired several companies through our years. And it's tricky, and it's very important to work through situations like that, as well as expansion and negotiating leases and figuring out what equipment to get next and hiring. So that's where consultations really have their value. Is I can tell you what delivery bags we use. We don't really need a consultation for that. I can point you in the right direction of software. We don't really need a consultation for that. But stuff that is particular to your situation and things that are unique to you, where it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of answer, that's where consultations, I think, have their biggest value. The community as well, you could probably get a lot of insight there, but when we really need to dive deep, more than what could fit in a one paragraph answer in a chat room, that's where a consultation would be good. And I think that's where they're going to be the most valuable. Don't waste your consultation time talking about delivery bags. I'd be happy to, but I always suggest getting a list of some questions that you want to go over. And what I like to do is like hear them all out, and then we rapid fire start going through them. I record the consultations as well, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. You can just sit there and be present in the conversation and focus on what we're talking about, and whatever question comes up, instead of writing down like, oh, what was that next question? Oh, I forgot. We're able to stay present, and you can always review the video later. And that's all I've got for you guys. So if you're new, welcome, subscribe, check out mealprepbiz101.com. Make sure you check out the links in the show notes. If you have been with me for a while, hi, thanks for sticking with me. Sorry that I've been ghosting you. If you're some of my consultation clients, I'm really proud of everybody. Everyone I've had a consultation with recently, I'm really impressed with. We've got some people who are making the right moves. I've seen some of them I've been consulting with for a couple of years now, and the growth that we've been able to, and really it comes down to you. All I do is answer your questions and give you some advice. You've got to do the work and roll up your sleeves. So I commend all of you, and I always try to commend you when I'm on the call with you. But I've got some people who are just starting off with some amazing potential and some laser focus on what they're doing, and some pretty sharp cookies as well. And then, like I said, I'm really proud of seeing where people were when we started, where they are now, and how they're hitting their stride. So I really enjoy the consultations. I look forward to meeting more of you through the consultations. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a great 2020. It is December 31st. I'm going to be heading out. It's about 10:07 p.m. So I'm going to be heading out for some New Year's festivities pretty soon, having a little bit of champagne and ringing in 2022. But to all of you, your friends, your family, your employees, I wish you the best, the most amount of success. I hope that if the meal prep business is something that you want to succeed at, that you find your stride and your success through it. And I would be honored to be any part of that I can. Have a great new year, and see you next week.